Just realized I was muted. Luckily, I did that very early on this time. Hope everyone's having a good day. Good Sunday. We're going to explore the OPXY today. Instead of diving into the OP1 like I did yesterday, into the debug synth, I want to dive into the various synth engines that come on the OPXY that are pretty different compared to what the OP1 has to offer. So I'm just going to start, and we're going to go top to bottom, starting with Axis. And I'm going to pull up the documentation that Teenage Engineering has, because they kind of do a good job, shockingly, at explaining what these different synth engines are for. Most of the time, they just like tell you that there's a synth engine and call it a day. But I was surprised to find that they, made an attempt at explaining it. All right, let's go to chapter 20. Pull it up. And yeah, we should be able to dive into it. Okay. So first up, we got Axis. Axis is an FM synth tailored for creating lush string sounds, apparently. I can see that. Let's see what this first one says. So you have tone. Okay, so this is like a low filter, basically. Controls the brightness. We have ratio. I assume this is the FM ratio. Okay. It looks like from 0 to 50, it's gradually sliding. And then starting on 55, it just goes up octaves, what it sounds like. Okay, so shape, I assume is the wave shape, like you could hear when we turn it up. Transforms into a sawtooth. And then this sounds like a square to me. Could be fun to automate that. Hold up. Let me make sure I got chat pulled up as well. Okay. And then tremolo. Tremolo, pretty self-explanatory. Looks like it controls both the amount and the speed at the same time. That's what it's looking like. Let's change this from mono to polyphonic. Let's mess with this amp envelope a little bit, add some release. Maybe have it fade in. Clipping a little bit, but it's all good. Turn that on. It's kind of a vibe. It is pretty lush. Let's see what happens if we take down the sustain. Maybe do some plucks. I don't like that it's clipping. I'm gonna turn the volume down just a little. Turn it back up here. Cool. Turn the volume down a little bit more. Alright. No longer clipping. Okay. Open up that filter. Sounds pretty dissonant there. Let's see if... That's kind of cool. So this is like, when you're in the middle, it's kind of in between a square and a sawtooth. Yeah, tremolo's not really doing much. Let's go into our LFO. Now, one thing I do like about this device, I don't like, okay, I said I was going to start with one thing I do like. I do like the tremolo LFO. I don't like that you only get one LFO per track. That is very limiting in my opinion, but it is what it is. The tremolo gives you access to 2 parameters at least, which is nice. It gives you access to the pitch and the volume, which you can do something with. So we can do like some bendiness. And we can add a little bit of flutter. I'm going to increase the amp envelope. Add back some of that release. Let's add some attack. Now keep in mind that has no effects. We can route it to the reverb and delay. Speaking of the effects, let's go into our effects chain. Reverb and delay is what is on by default, which works. 2 classic effects. What I'm going to do is probably swap out that delay and try something else. Like perhaps we'll do the lo-fi, because I feel like you can get some cool stuff. Man, my eyesight is so bad because I cannot see what's on this screen unless I like squint. I do have my glasses on. So bit reduction. I'm gonna, I think, like, stick somewhere here maybe. I like the little filtered vibes. I like that. Let's mess with the reverb a little bit too. Oh, so you can make it like a dark reverb, or you can make it a brighter reverb. Ooh, you could also modulate the reverb? That's kind of cool. Very noisy, very warm. I'm a fan. I'm gonna do a darker reverb, I think. And I'm gonna go on the smaller side for size. That's cool. Okay, let's go back into the synth. Now, one thing we haven't messed with are the different filter models. And let me actually do some research on what these different models are supposed to do, because I haven't looked into it too much. I'm sure they're emulating some sort of like classic analog synthesizer filter. But let's take a look. We got the synth engines. We got EQ, saturator. Okay, that's the master chain. Filter. There we go. Chapter 14 in the manual. I will say this manual pretty useful, but also pretty lacking. There's like a bunch of sections that are coming soon, which is not something you want to see in a manual about how to use a device, you know? See a comment. Whoa, how can you find all the money for this? $2,000? Yes. I find the money because I care about it. I'll put it that way. And I'm fortunate to have a good career. Okay, filter. My mom would kill me. Well, I'm probably much older then. And yeah. To be fair, if my mom, even at my age, knew how much I spent on stuff related to music, she would be like, why are you doing that? All right. Filter. Let's see. I know about, the different knobs. This is like the cutoff knob, resonance, envelope amount, key tracking. I'm glad they put in key tracking. That's great. You can also do effect sends as a secondary menu. Let's add one of these. Okay. So you can do like your little sends through here. That's cool. I want to figure out like what the different models are though. Why won't you explain those? Envelopes. Okay, it doesn't explain the different models. That's unfortunate. So you have different models. How old are you? I am in my 30s, sir. All right. So ladder filter. I mean, it's some sort of low pass, obviously, but let's see. So ladder, low pass filter. The thing is, I don't really know what makes the OP interesting. How would you describe it? Which one? The OPXY or the OP1 Field? Okay. So ladder filter, can't hear anything. Okay, so at the midpoint is where you start hearing most of it. This is fully open. I get the sense that this is like 24 dB per octave, I'm guessing. You get a little bit of self-oscillation. I bet if we turn on key tracking, it will track the pitch. Yup. You can get like weird bell vibes. In general, I think. I mean, OP1 Field, it's not for everyone, in my opinion. I enjoy it for sound design. I don't enjoy actually trying to like be creative on it because everything is done on the tape and it is very unforgiving. So if you make mistakes, you just have to like try again. There's no undo button. What is cool about it is you have a lot of like different synth engines to work with. It's pretty good at sampling, pretty good at slicing samples up if you like doing that sort of stuff. And you get like 4 audio tracks and you can overdub like as much as you want. I like that it's lo-fi with like the tape emulation that it has, and generally it's fun to use and it's like, cool to look at. I don't think it fits my workflow personally for like making beats, but it's certainly entertaining to use and you can get a lot of interesting sounds out of it. OPXY, I think, more limited from a sound design perspective compared to the OP1. But it's a lot easier to be creative on this because you get a step sequencer. It's much more forgiving on that front. You get 8 tracks. You get a lot of punch-in effects, which are very cool. And, you know, like make your performances a lot more dynamic. And it's really easy to get started making beats on the OPXY. And the OPXY is basically them redoing their other product, which is called the OPZ. So OPZ, you could probably pick one up for a lot cheaper now, and you get a lot of the same functionality, but it's obviously worse in that it has less sample memory and all that jazz, and the synths are much more simplified. But yeah, that would probably be my explanation. Is OP1 Field less forgiving, a lot more opportunities to be creative with the synths. You also get an insert effect per synth that you're using, so you can make your synths pretty unique. You could resample stuff. You know, you could resample a bunch of stuff onto one track and then take it, put it into a synth engine, or rather the sampling engine, and then you have like a very big sounding synth. So yeah, for now I'm in the box, but I also want a few stuff, so I'm asking. Yeah, I mean, in the box is definitely the most cost effective. If you want like a synthesizer that is affordable, the most affordable is probably going to be like Behringer or Behringer, however you say that, which is they like do knockoffs of more prominent synthesizers. Not knockoffs, maybe I'll use a different word. They reimagine existing synthesizers. But yeah, how many plugins do you have? I have a lot. I do work with Ableton. But yeah. All right. Let me get back into this. So that's the ladder filter. Ladder filter self-oscillates. That's cool. You can use this to like impart another pitch onto whatever you're playing if you tune it right and you turn on key tracking. Yeah, you get like little sparkly sounds. That's cool. All right, let's try the SVF filter, which I'm not sure what this is supposed to stand for. If anyone knows, let me know. Okay. It doesn't sound like this one self-oscillates. Let me go down into bass tones. It doesn't seem like increasing the resonance is taking away the bass, which is good. This one doesn't self-oscillate. This one gives me like 303 filter vibes. That's cool. Let's try out the third one. Z high pass. Okay, so this is a high pass filter. Okay, I think this one. Okay, envelope works in the opposite direction. Okay, that's cool. Let's see. Yeah, seems like a standard high pass filter, no self oscillation. Nothing like that going on. Okay, let's try the last one, Z low pass. this one actually, yeah, it makes like the wow sound. State variable filter. Ooh, thank you for telling me. I wonder, I'm gonna research this a little bit right now. State variable filter. I wonder what it's based on. Kind of curious. State variable filter that can produce different filter responses with precise Q factor. All right, I'm gonna look that up later because that seems boring and not fun for a stream. In FL, I love building patcher devices similar to Rax and Ableton, but I'm thinking on switching to Ableton or Bitwig. FL has a very bad workflow. Oh no, a lot of very famous producers use FL Studio. It's like pretty good for getting ideas out. Step sequencers, really great. But yeah. I also have an Armenian friend. I'm Turkish and he plays duduk, cool instrument. Yeah, duduk is pretty cool. Very difficult to play. I tried playing it when I was younger, back in college, and I did not have the lung capacity. Yeah. All right, this one, the state variable, or not the state variable, low pass, Z low pass. It's like more wowie, as you can hear. That's cool. We could probably increase the volume a little bit. Ooh. For some reason, it is clipping again. Probably turned it up too much. All right. So, yeah, this one, I think we kind of got a feel for it. Axis is what it's called. When you add some effects to it, like this to me does not sound like strings right now. I am filtering it a lot, and I added a lo-fi effect, so I could go back and mess with this a little. What is this quality? Okay. I like that, but this to me sounds closer to horns. That's cool though. This one, okay, this is probably my favorite synth. It's the EPano, but before we get there, ooh, this sounds like water drops. It would be fun to arpeggiate. Now the arpeggiator on this thing, one of my favorite devices, I don't know, features. Turn it on. Yeah, you could do a lot just with the arpeggiator. See, that's very... Dissolve is... It's called like a swarm synth, I think. Let me look it up, because it explains it pretty well. I think it's supposed to be good for like plucky sounds, I want to say. Let's look it up. I think we have to go to chapter 20. All right. Axis. Dissolve. Dissolve is a tonal noise synth engine, perfect for ambient pads and bright, noisy leads. So I was wrong. It is not for short, like percussive, plucky sounds, even though it seems to do that pretty well, based on at least the amp envelope set up here. First knob, so this one controls swarm. So it modulates the oscillators with noise. Okay, that makes sense. That's why when we turn it up, it gets a lot more noisy. Sounds kind of like when you just like play it like this. Kind of gives me lullaby vibes. Oh dude, we got Sun Woo in here. I love your videos, man. Appreciate you joining. You have taught me so much about the OP1 Field. Yeah. Also, when are you getting the OPXY? I feel like you would make much better, much more in-depth videos on it than I do. Because I'm still trying to like figure this thing out. Ooh. The one thing that's bugging me a lot is the lack of copy paste. At least I have not been able to find it at all in the freaking manual, and it's driving me nuts. Because I really want to be able to copy paste steps. But yeah, it's killing me. Okay. So swarm AM, I think that's amp modulation, I want to say. Yeah. Amplitude of the sound adding grit. That makes sense. I can't afford the XY, but we'll see. Got to be patient. Yeah. No, I feel that. It is, like everything teenage engineering, very non-competitively priced. Yeah. And honestly, if you have like an OPZ, you're like 80% of the way there. Not 80, but you're like 60% of the way there. You know, you have the same workflow. You just get more bars, different synth engines, more memory. Yeah. All right, FM. So this thing does amplitude modulation, frequency modulation as well. I want to test this out. Oh, interesting. Wait, it's not like, it doesn't feel like it's FM. Hold up. Seems like it's just like changing the wave shape almost. There's definitely some vibrato on here. And then detune is just detuning it. That's where I guess like the swarm part comes in. Because it sounds like a bunch of synths. I prefer it. This sounds like a sine wave to me. Maybe a little bit of noise. I kind of like the amp modulation off. With the maybe ARP on. That's cool. Yeah, this is pretty, pretty classic. It's just a sine wave for right now. Let's see if we can mess around with the filter a little bit. I did not want a high pass. Let's try out the low pass. Now, one gripe. Every time you change the filter on it, it lands you back on this main page. Teenage Engineering, please fix that. Sounds a little bit like the OPZ's cluster engine, right? Ooh, you could be right. I wonder. I need to fire up the OPZ. It's been like a year since I've used it. But I should do a comparison. Yeah. I'm sure a lot of these synthesizers are like based on the OPZ synths now that I think about it, and perhaps expanded upon. One thing I didn't like on the OPZ was how few parameters you could control for the actual like synth itself. I like this though. I like this synth a lot. Let's try like a maybe very speedy filter. And then with some envelope. That's kind of cool. Maybe turn on a little bit of key tracking. Oh, that's kind of cool. You can like really dial it in. Let's see. Too much. Yeah, I don't think the amp modulation, or rather tremolo, is doing much in this situation. Okay, this was cool. Let's see. Hold up. One thing, I'm pressing all the wrong buttons. One thing I do want to try is seeing how much we can mess this up, perhaps. Let's also turn the volume up a little. Actually, could just open the filter. Or a little bit of both. Ooh, we could also send it to our effects. Yeah, no, maybe not the lo-fi. Yeah, reverb works really nicely on this, though. I'm a fan of that. That's pretty cool. Alright, now I'm just gonna try and like mess it up a little bit. That's max detune. Let's do like a third. Alright. I'm gonna try something a little different. That's cool. I wonder if it like lets you do the... Yeah, I don't think it does. I would really love to do the envelope in reverse. Ooh, you start clipping. That's no good. Okay. Let's try swapping out this for an element, perhaps. Or actually, not an element. Sorry. We're gonna do value. Let's see. What should we map this to? Oh, the letters are so small. I cannot see. Alright. FM, detune. Let's see. What would be fun to modulate? Honestly, it's probably gonna be the filter envelope, I'm guessing, or filter cutoff, or like the resonance or envelope. Something with the filter is probably going to give us the most audible thing. You get like very bubbly. I think you could do a free mode. Let's try different shapes. Ooh, sawtooth sounds pretty cool. Yeah, envelope is no fun. All right. I think tremolo is probably going to be the best for this. What am I doing? Could make it real bendy. Have it fade in a little, perhaps. Actually, let's turn the fade off. That's pretty cool. Sounds like a swarm for real. Let's see. How would you rate the build quality compared to the cheap $180 Behringer stuff? Is there a huge difference? I mean, yes, but I honestly, like, some of the Behringer gear I own, I don't know. Honestly, I feel like this thing would break before some of the Behringer stuff, but it's just like there's a lot more tech in here. The Behringer stuff I own is probably like a lot more simple to manufacture than it is to make one of these. Like, this thing's probably really complicated to make, but like something like this, like, you know, metal. It's very dusty right now, but like this is probably relatively simple compared to like this thing that has a screen and has like a bunch of stuff in it. You know, I assume if I like drop this versus this thingy's probably going to break first. But I mean, it's very solid. It's metal case. It's like very premium feel to it. But yeah, like I wouldn't say this is built like a tank or whatever and that you could just throw it around. I don't think you would want to do that. All right. That was Swarm. Swarm is cool. I feel like you could definitely do the pads on the Swarm. I can see that. I mean, this isn't really a pad right now. Can have it fade in. Can make this a little bit less crazy. Let's take out the amp mod. Yeah, it's like a classic pad. Yeah, so pretty good. Pretty good at doing what it's supposed to do, which is make pads and those sorts of sounds. You could definitely get leads out of it too, especially if you up the frequency modulation. You basically like get a sawtooth, what it sounds like to me. I'm gonna skip over drum because that's just like sample based. Let's go to EPano. Okay, this is hands down my favorite synth on here. Not only is it great for pianos, which like duh, it's called EPano. It should be great for pianos, but it's really good at bass in my opinion. So we're on mono for some reason. Let's go to poly. I'm gonna turn off the filter for a second. Turn off the LFO. Yeah, that's just nice. Is it clipping? No. You gotta add a little bit of attack to it to get rid of that click. Ooh. Yeah, this is just a nice EPano in my opinion. Did you also see Filter Table by Kilohertz? Amazing plugin. I have not, or I've heard of it. I haven't like actually seen it in action, but I really like Kilohertz. I have like Phase Plant and a couple of their other plugins, and obviously like the free bundle. For any people in here that make beats on the computer and you just want like some solid free effects, check out the Kilohertz like free plugins. I think you get like 60 or something, or like 30 to 40. I don't know how many it is. Let me look it up. Kilohertz plugins, but I think it's called the Essentials. Kilohertz Essentials. But they have some stuff that doesn't come in every DAW. One of those things being like a ring modulator you might not have in your DAW. A transient shaper you probably don't have in your DAW, like stock. A comb filter. It has some like really unique effects. One of them being, I think it's called like, yeah, it's called Transgate. Basically lets you add rhythms to whatever audio you run through it. So you can like run a pad through it and it'll like add a tremolo like ducking thing. Pretty cool. And then aside from that, it just has like very useful, like, you know, filters, EQs, bit crushers, things like that. But pretty good. Okay, let's get back to the EPano. So we got the tone. I think this is just like, yeah, it seems like a filter, maybe filter kind of thing. Yeah, I think it's a filter for the most part. Let's see. Tone allows you to make the sound brighter or darker. Yep, that's what a filter does. Okay. Texture. Now, I have been curious. It brings grit to the sound. Let's see how it does it. Yeah, it sounds like it's adding like overdrive maybe. Or like saturation. That's cool. All right, punch. To adjust punch. Punch adds even more movement to your sound. Okay, what does that mean? Got it. I don't know how to describe it. Let's take away the texture for a second. So that's with nothing. I think it makes like the press seem a little more hard. I don't know how to describe it. Electric pianos are all about the strings dampening and the magnetic pickups being overdrived. Hell yeah. All right. I have no idea what a tine is, but let me look it up. I know it's like one of the components in a piano, I'm pretty sure. A prong on an implement such as a fork or a pitchfork. I think that's what it is. Let's see. Tine, piano, context. I should ask ChatGPT. Tine, piano, meaning. The iconic timbre of many electric pianos is generated by a hammer striking a piece of steel wire called a tine that's attached to a tone bar. Got it. So the steel wire, I guess, is it's the metal thing being struck. Okay, that's cool. So I guess like this lets you, what does it do? Emulating the sound of a tine Tine adds high frequencies to the start of your sound, emulating the strike of the tine. So I guess like they're like tightening the strings. Oh, okay. It makes it like more plucky. Got it. So it makes it more plucky. That's what I got from this. Okay. Now we can mess with the filter, obviously, add some more release. I feel like you don't want like too much attack. I guess you could use it as a pad though. Let's see. Maybe add some release. We can add some effects to this. Hold up. I'm gonna actually take out the lo-fi. So this is, okay, another gripe session, Teenage Engineering. I hope you're paying attention. This is good feedback for you. Please give me just one insert effect. Please. Just one. One per track. That's all I need. Because, like, you know, it's cool having the lo-fi, but the lo-fi doesn't sound that great on a lot of these things. Like, it's probably going to be best on, I don't know, like a bass, maybe the drums, something like that. But I probably am not going to use it on everything. Stuff that sounds great on everything is typically delay and reverb, but that's boring. Honestly, I would rather keep the send effects to delay and reverb and then just have the ability to add one insert. And there's like cool stuff here, like distortion. You're probably not going to use distortion on a lot of tracks. You are probably going to use reverb and delay on a lot of tracks though. So yeah, it would be great if there was a way to do an insert effect, or even like give me a workaround. Let me like parameter lock an effect on a step, you know, and then switch it out on another step. Like, let me put a distortion on a step for my, you know, drum, my kick drum or something, and then swap it out for some other effect. Honestly, just give me an insert, please. Lo-fi is kind of a gimmick. A bit crusher filter does just fine. I mean, lo-fi on this thing, all it is sample rate redux and bit reduction. That's all it's really doing. And then I think drift is, I don't know if I saw good explanations on the effects. We can look into it. I really like that OPXY can have an effects loop with ins and outs. When I finally have one, I think it will partner great with Zoya. I'm trying to like have an effects loop with ins and outs. So like can you control that per track? Oh wait, can you do that per track? So I can basically like send out track 5 if I want to a guitar pedal. Wait, am I just dumb? And is that what this thing is? Sonwoo, you have to explain. I should look into this. Where's the effects section of the manual? Track buttons, sequencers, step components, players. Thank you, Mike something. Oh, thank you, Andrew, for subscribing. Appreciate it. Okay. Effects. I need to figure out, because if you can like send out certain tracks to an effects pedal, that's giving me an insert, because I, have a disease. It is called gear acquisition syndrome, and I have a lot of guitar pedals, and that could very well work as an insert. Okay, I need to go to chapter 21 of this manual ASAP. Effects. Okay, it's explaining all the different effects. Is it gonna be here though? Okay, that's not where I need to look. Let me check chat. I think you can send it, so it's a third send effect, I believe. Interesting. Oh, that would be great. Cause like, hold up. I would love to use like one of these, but like do it on a per track level. Cause like, oh my God, these are so dusty. Gotta get by the way, for people that have a lot of synths, you need to make a brush, because this is how you get dust off. But yeah, it would be great if I could plug one of these in and use it as, or even like chain it together and use it as like a send. Let me try to figure this out. It's not finished, I think, but I asked one of the beta testers. He said it's possible. Oh, damn it. I will keep an eye out. Makeup brush. Yeah, dude. It is crucial. I learned that I didn't come up with it myself, by the way, chat. I learned it from John Makes Beats in a video. So, all credit to John on that one. All right, I'm getting off track. Let's go back to this EPano. I'm gonna actually swap out one of the send effects. So instead of lo-fi, I feel like a phaser or even a chorus might. Oh. Yeah, chorus should be better. That's cool. Yeah, I really like the vibe of the EPano. As a piano itself, works phenomenally well, in my opinion. Let's mess with this filter a little. Hold up. Yeah. Ooh. Hold up. Let's open up Maestro and get like a chord recorded in here. Maybe we'll do. You can have like a little strum. Let me go up an octave. How do I re-record? I forget. Alright, gotta open up the manual to look at re-recording stuff on the Maestro, because I think I might have recorded something a long time ago. Shift plus notes, thank you. Aha. There we go. That's not it. Let's try something else. Nope, that ain't it. I mean, I could just do C major 7, call it a day. It's always gonna sound good. That's cool. All right, what's going on in chat? Are you syncing MIDI and clock via Bluetooth between any of the devices? Do you know clock sync via Bluetooth? I have not tried that. I am syncing the clock on the OPXY to the OP1 Field over USB. If that thing has separate outputs, you can send it to a mixer and use the effects sends for the effects pedals. Ooh, that's true. I could do that. Yeah, it would be great if I could send effects out. I want to know what this thingy does. No send. Cause yeah, maybe it'll tell me on the filter page actually. Let's find the filter section one more time. One more piece of feedback for Teenage Engineering. Please make your manual searchable via Control F. Thank you. Or I could just try to set up like a ChatGPT thing. Because it's so annoying that you also can't click and like go to sections, which is another annoying thing. See, I think filter was on 14. Okay. Chapter 14. Here we come. Filter. Effects engine, effects tracks. Wait, no, I went too far. I went way too far. Tremolo, random. That's about LFOs. Okay. Track send. Okay, rotate the dark gray knob. Increase the aux out send. Is that what that is? Am I sending it? I can try this. I might get a feedback loop. Let's see if I can maybe try to hook up the mood. Actually, it's not a good time. I'll try it off stream. And then if I figure it out, I'll do it on stream. But it looks like when you hold shift in the filter and you end up on this menu, the first thing is supposed to be an aux out. And you can send stuff out, I assume. And then I assume you can send the audio back in. And I think there's a way to avoid a feedback loop, if I am not mistaken. Let's see. I need to figure out. I always like forget. I don't think it's the system menu. Like one of these other menus. Is it this one? This is the one. Okay. High pass, velocity, sensitivity. Let's see. No, it's not here. There's somewhere that it would tell you like that there is no feedback loop. Okay, so this is just sending to the tape. Interesting. Yeah, I need to explore the aux out a little bit more and see if you can send something out to a guitar pedal, send it back, not have a feedback loop. Because that would be phenomenal. All right, let's get back to the piano. We got the filter. I'm going to do ladder filter. I think ladder filter self-oscillates. Now, that would be a cool thing to modulate. Let's put a value on the envelope. Can I do, or actually the filter, what am I talking about? The filter, and we want to do it on the envelope. That's cool. Yeah, I like that a lot. Hold up. Time check. All right, I'm good. Yeah, piano, goated. Now, other than piano sounds, you can make really good bass sounds with this. Let's turn off these effect sounds. Let's turn off Maestro. Let's make this into a mono synth real quick. So turn off the LFO. This is without a filter. I don't know if you all have headphones on, but that is a thick bass. I mean, you add a little bit of like portamento, and it's a vibe. But yeah, this thing, very solid for basses. I mean, and even, I think you can get like a nice 303 thing going with it. Hold up. Let's try this out. It might be a different filter, not the high pass. Perhaps the state variable. I am quite new to the OP1, OPXY. I saw once Reggie Watts performing live on the OP1. I didn't realize at time the significance of teenage engineering brand on the gear market. Looks like this is an entire teenage engineering setup, including mixer and another device that I'm not familiar with. Interesting, quite a setup. Appreciate it. Yeah, this one is it's like the tape recorder, which funnily enough, I've just had it on, but I haven't actually recorded anything yet. But yeah, you can record stuff through the mixer directly onto here, which is fun. There we go. That's the sound I wanted. Yeah, you could get a lot of cool classic basses with the EPano. And if you like turn on the ARP, you know, let's switch from Maestro to the arpeggio. And set it to random. You know. You can do a lot of fun stuff. I don't know what gut stream means, but yeah. Okay. That is fun. Let's move on from the EPano real quick and let's talk about hard sync. Okay, that actually lined up. I'm going to skip over external because I'm pretty sure this is just like external MIDI control, which I actually do want to test out with the OP1 eventually. So let's just turn on hard sync. Let's read about this a little bit. This one perplexes me because like I feel like it just doesn't, I don't know, it doesn't sound great. It's probably a user problem. Let's see. Hold up, let me not miss a question. What would you recommend for getting out of creative block / finding inspiration? Just make something. Just get in there and make some hot garbage. Just make something, even if it's bad. I personally, for me, if I'm not like, because I'm not like an instrument player, I'm not good at that. I am good at using step sequencers. So for me personally, I typically fire up like the Digitech 2 or something, and I just get like a drum beat going, and then I throw some chords on there and a bass line, and typically by then I'm like out of the rut. Lately I've been firing up this thing and doing the same. But yeah, the best way to get out of it is to make something, whatever it is. If it's a bad song, if it's just a snippet, just do it. You know, use your strengths. If you're good at playing stuff, like if you're good at the piano or something, or you're a drummer, whatever instrument you play, just play something, record it, and do it quickly. Like, you don't need to agonize over these decisions, you know? Just have fun with it, do it fast, and eventually you will get out of your rut. All right, we're gonna look up, what is the device called again? Hard sync. Okay, I think that's in chapter 20. Yes. Okay, cool. I'm remembering things. I am remembering things. We got Axis, we got Dissolve, we got EPano. We're gonna skip external. Hard sync. Okay, hard sync is perfect for stabs, jabs, and solid basses. Okay, frequency knob is adjust the frequency. One thing that I don't like is I'm pretty sure, yeah, see. So here's like a thing that is bothersome. Different velocity sensitivities on each track. I wish you could just set a global one and like stick with it. So this is supposed to be for stabs, jabs, solid basses. Okay, so frequency is like the octave a little bit. Not quite. Yeah, this is very like classic horn vibe. What is the advantage of a step sequencer over a regular linear sequencer? 64 steps of a step sequencer seems like quite a limit compared with a linear sequencer. I have no idea what a linear sequencer is, so I couldn't tell you, my friend. Here, let me look it up. Linear sequencer. Oh, are you talking about like an arrangement mode on like Ableton or something? Linear sequencer. Music. What is the okay, Sweetwater's going to teach me. What is the difference between pattern-based sequencing and linear sequencing? Oh, yeah. Okay, so you are talking about arrangement mode. Here's my take on it. I think songs are typically just made up of different patterns. Usually those patterns are like 8 to 16 bars in length for each section, depending on like your BPM and all that stuff. They could be longer or shorter depending on how you're feeling. So inherently, I think a step sequencer is suited for that sort of workflow. So you make like one pattern, and that pattern you can like the way I do it, and a lot of other people do it as well, is you just make one pattern that has all of your sort of instruments on there. It's basically what you expect to have in your hook. And then you duplicate that pattern a bunch of times. You use one for your intro. You use another one for your like A section. You use the one with all your instrumentation for your chorus, and then you use one of them for your B section, and you might like edit stuff. You'll definitely want to add some sort of transitions between each section. But in my experience, splitting up a song into like 64 to 128 step sequences and doing it like on a pattern basis versus trying to like structure it across like linearly, because you're going to duplicate stuff anyway. Like you're typically going to start with a loop and then duplicate it a bunch and like take components out, add components back in, add a drop here and there, you know. In my opinion, a step sequencer is faster to get an idea out and then arrange it around patterns rather than like for me personally, staring at like the Ableton arrangement view gives me anxiety, and like I'm just like it doesn't put me in a creative mood. Whereas like sitting there and like making a loop, whether it's for 4 or 8 bars or whatever, you know, that to me is much more exciting and much more gets me in the mood to be creative. But everyone's different, you know. You might like the linear sort of like workflow, the Ableton, you know, the Ableton arrangement view, I think is what it's called, that workflow. All right. Let's get back to the OPXY hard sync frequency. Okay, so it adjusts the frequency, or this adjusts the tone, shifting the harmonics, but it also adjusts the pitch by like octaves, is what it sounds like. Sub, it adds sub bass, perfect for thickening. Oh, I like that. Let's add a little bit more release. Let's lower the volume a little. I can see this being useful for like horns. All right, noise, brightening the sound. Okay, that's just basic noise. I'm not hearing it really like brighten things too much. Maybe in moderation, perhaps. Okay, and then low cut. Okay, so this is just a high pass filter. I'm honestly, I guess this could be good if you're trying to like fit your sound in, if it's clashing too much. What do you think of Maestro? Big fan. I like it. I like Maestro a lot. It's a lot of fun to use. Here, we'll use it right now. Let's just do something random. Ooh, okay, I just had an idea. Random on the, let's see, on the synth, actually, frequency. And can I do it every time I want to do it like every time I tap it? there a way to do that? Let's see. Oh, so you could do up to 8 notes. That's pretty cool. Let's redo this. Yeah, Maestro's fun. Have you attempted to export track sequences as MIDI for use in DAW? That's something I've been wondering about. You can't really export anything as MIDI from the OPXY as far as I know. I don't think any tool exists to do that yet. What you can do is export audio. DAWs like Ableton, for example, let you convert audio to MIDI. So if you have like drums, you can convert your drums into MIDI. If you have chords, it'll do its best to convert it into MIDI. But if you have a program like Melodyne, it's going to do a much better job at converting your notes into like the actual MIDI notes. And then you can extract the MIDI and save it that way. But there's no direct way to export MIDI out of this as far as I know. I could be wrong. I haven't like read through the entire manual, but I'm fairly certain it's just audio is what you're going to be able to get out of it. Okay. Let's try. I'm going to turn Maestro off for a second. Do I need to do this? Okay, cool. That's cool. I like that. It's like jumping around the frequency. So the sound's evolving a little bit. Let's swap out one of these filters. Do the regular low pass perhaps. Let's mess with this filter a little bit. That's cool. Yeah, you could get proper horns, proper electric horns. I don't know what to call it right now. Would Yamaha, Sectrack, and Roland SH4D be the competing devices to the OP1, OPXY? Definitely not. No. The reason I say definitely not on that, by the way, is like Yamaha Sectrack, I think was trying to compete with like OPZ. I don't think it really competes with the OPXY. Like maybe it tries, but what's a good way to describe it? It's like, why would you get the Behringer equivalent, which like the Yamaha Sectrack would be, if you could just get like this thing, you know? Like you might want to pick up the Sectrack if you like can't afford the Teenage Engineering stuff, but the workflow is different. The workflow is not the same. I have an SH4D. I never got into it because the workflow did not speak to me. But it does have a step sequencer. You know, you can have patterns on it. I'm sure it can do parameter locks, I think. But it's like the workflow for me personally. This is all personal, preference. I was not immediately like drawn to it. Could you export all separate tracks at the same time? You cannot, as far as I know. Like you can't export it as audio at the same time, from what I understand. You might be able to, like, what device was it? Well, it might be the OP1, because I think the OP1, if you pair it with this thing, is one of them. Like the OP1 or perhaps like the KO. I think it does do multi-track recording. So maybe if you have a TX6, you could do like a multi-track into the TP7. But don't quote me on that. Yeah. The way I would probably do it is just recording them one by one. But I'm pretty sure the TX6. Okay, I just remembered. So no, you can't do multi-track directly from this. But if you have a bunch of synths plugged into the TX6, you could multi-track those to the TP7. So like if I had, a drum machine, the OP1, the OPXY, like I could, each one of these devices would be treated as a track if I recorded it onto the TP7, but each track within these machines would not get recorded separately, if that makes sense. All right. Hard sync, pretty good for like horns, synthesized horns. I can see that. Let's see. It's supposed to also be good for solid basses. Let's try to do that. I like that. Let's maybe like we'll turn it into mono. It also, hard sync does this like auto panning thing. Yeah, you gotta add. You could definitely do bass. Here we can try to do a different like amp envelope. Make it more plucky. I can see it. Probably not my favorite for basses. It seems really good for like horns. All right, organ. This one should be pretty. Hold up. All right. Sorry about that. Hold up. Stuff going on in the house. Might have to end right now. All right, yeah. I need to go. But I appreciate you all for watching, and I will see you all later. And yeah, I'm okay. It's just like stuff happening around me that I got to take care of. But appreciate you all for joining. I will probably do another stream, maybe later tonight or tomorrow, to go through the rest of the synths on the OPXY. But thank you all and have a good day.